Session title is More Than SQL, but Less Than ORM by Mosky, please.
Okay. I'm glad I can speak at Japan again. This time is about another project I started this year. Okay. So my title is More Than SQL, but Less Than ORM. Okay. I believe everybody knows what is SQL or ORM, right? Anybody don't know what is SQL or ORM? Really? I believe everybody knows what is SQL, right? Okay. Okay. ORM is ORM means because we have relational database, and relational database actually is from maths. It's not for programming. The model of the relational database is actually from maths. So the modern programming is object-oriented. So it's a little hard to transfer relational database data to ORS data. So the ORM is a mapper. M means a mapper. Map the relational data still to the programming language as an object. So it's SQL and ORM. So at the first, if we want to access database, we will use SQL. SQL, I think everybody knows. And in modern time, because SQL is a little hard to use, it has many issues. I will cover them later. So programmers invent ORM. Use ORM to reduce the problem, but it may cause many problems, more problems. I will cover in this talk. Okay. Let me introduce myself. I'm working at PyCon, and I'm a COSCAP staff. COSCAP actually is the biggest open source conference in Taiwan. We had near 2,000 attenders this year. So if you're interested, not only Python, it's a whole of the open source topic, you may visit Taiwan maybe this year, next year. Yeah. It's usually held in July or October, not October, October. So if you're interested, the URL is coscap.org. You can visit it for more information. I'm also a Python trainer in Taiwan. And I also a speaker for several conferences. And finally is my website. If you are interested in me, the website has more detail about me. Okay. Then let me introduce my company. Pinko.com. We build a design ecosystem in Taiwan, actually. Pinko is an online market for people to buy, sell, share designs, and to be invited. It's like, it's just like, what is that? I just forgot. A website, what for, what name is it? But you can buy it in Pinko. If you are interested, you can just type pinko.com on your browser. We will come Japan very soon. We are now prepared to come Japan now. Okay. And I have Japanese version. So actually, I asked my friend to translate it for me. So I actually don't understand what it is. So if you understand, you can read it. It's introduced about pinko.com. It's today's online. Today we will cover why not SQL. SQL is great. SQL actually invented very fast during the database period. SQL is great, but you have some. Actually, why not SQL is I will say some bad thing of SQL. But SQL actually is great. Why ORM? Most of you may use ORM now, but ORM has some disadvantage that I will be cover that. Then MoSQL. MoSQL is my project. I will cover the usage, performance, and the security part of the MoSQL today. Finally, maybe a demo if we have time. Then, actually, MoSQL have full documentation and also text. So if you think I'm speak too slow or you want to just see a document, you can check out the URL. Just MoSQL, the name of my project, Mosky, my name, .tw, Taiwan. So, why not SQL? The first disadvantage of SQL is hard to use. I think this first one is pretty easy. And how about at order by create? Did you know to put where of the first SQL? Okay, maybe you know. I think most of you know this. Then add offset 10. Then group by author. It's very difficult to remember the order of SQL. Okay, then next one. What's wrong with this SQL? Oh, yeah, great. Yes, but it's hard to find for like me. I'm not good at remembering things. So, yeah, it's hard to use. So I think everybody, if you use Python with SQL, you will see programmer error, and programmer error. What a gap. And if you use pure SQL in Python just with a connector and Python, it may be inject. Do you know what is SQL injection? If you know, please hand out. Oh, not many. Let me introduce the SQL injection. SQL injection is a quick way. You can put comment in the data, and if your program not handle it carefully, then database will translate your data as a comment. So the worst case is your data will be clear, will be empty. Something like draw table, something like double dash, draw table, something like this is SQL injection. So a big example. If you use this kind of the code to build your SQL, quickly can inject font value. Because the input is from user, which is not safe. And it may be like a dictionary, something like request. And K means the value, K means the key, V means the value. And if user's value include the single quote, in this place, it will be a string, empty string. And the query can put the comment under after the empty string. So your database will translate it as comment. So the query can do anything on your machine if you run this code on your program. Oh, identify actually. This place is also injectable because you don't have any protect of this field. So actually, user can put anything he wants or she wants on here. So it may be injectable. Okay, I remind you, don't copy the code here. It's very dangerous. Okay. It seems bad. Sounds like very bad. But actually, SQL is the fastest way to communicate with database. I think you all agree. All of the SQL connectors use SQL, of course. So it's a faster way. And everyone understands or learned it. I think some of you may forget what is SQL or not very good at using SQL. Someone like me, I'm actually not good at using SQL, but I understand and I learned. So it's an advantage. Okay, it's the part of SQL. Then why ORM? The advantage of ORM is, first, it's easy to use. We can write something like this. A class, it represents a person in your database, represent a person table in your database. It's taken from, at least course name is taken from SQL Archiving, a most famous ORM in Python's world. Okay. You can specify the table name here and tell the SQL Archiving which person IDs and the name. Then assign a primary key, just like this. You may have more code to handle some logic, but I ignore here. And after you wrote your class, you can do something like this. You can create a person instance like Mosky, and use session. Session is another tool of SQL Archiving. Then add Mosky. And SQL Archiving will just put this instance into table. It's very easy to understand for the programmer. Okay. Then if you want to do a query, you can use this syntax like session query, which table, and select what. Then this one will select all of the rows of the person and print the person name and person ID. Okay, let you forget ugly SQL so far. And it usually guarantees SQL injection free. Usually ORM will handle it for you. So if you use ORM, you can have easier syntax and security. So it's advantage, most of the advantage of the ORM. It seems good, but ORM is slower. I have some, I do some tests with my project and the SQL Archiving. My project is faster, and the number will tell you in later. And you need to learn it from scratch. You have to forget all the thing about SQL and learn a whole new stuff. Then you can use ORM. Usually it is. Usually it is. And sometimes it's just a black box. You don't know what happened inside of it. It just works. And why not work? You don't know, because ORM usually is a very large project. So if you want to check the source code, it might be hard. And yeah, it's just a black box. So here is an easy comparison table between SQL and ORM. Actually, both have their pros and cons, but is it possible to combine them? SQL are easy to use. SQL is not easy to use because you need to do many string stuff in your code, right? Some of you might handle it. And the ORM is very easy to use because it's just Python syntax. All of you probably should know the Python syntax. So it's very easy. You just check the ORM document, then you understand how to use. Secure. SQL, if you don't have the security knowledge, you may write some code like I just demoed it. It's very dangerous. And ORM just do it. It's more secure for ORM case. But SQL is more easy to learn because SQL actually is very easy. And I think everybody here learns SQL. But ORM depends on which ORM do you use. It may be Django's ORM or SQL archiving or lightweight ORM, whatever. So you encounter a new ORM, you need to learn it again. Then it's hard to, something like today's project is going to worst. You want to jump out of this project, that will be hard. Because each ORM is very different. And that SQL is fastest because it just communicates. It's database language, so you can communicate very fast. You don't need to do another conversation. Then the database knows what you said. And the ORM, because actually object is very different from the relational database. So you need to do some translate from the rows to the your object. So ORM had overhead cost. You always have cost some CPU or some memory to handle it. So although it's very convenient, but it maybe not fast. Maybe someone will say, I can tune my ORM to let it very fast, but you need to tune. Yeah, it's another hard to learn the point. Okay. So we're going ahead with MoSQL. Okay, so is it possible to combine them? I did that. It's MoSQL. The first guess, I always think the either SQL or ORM is too complicated to use. If you use SQL, you need to handle string. If you use ORM, you need to understand the document, the design of this ORM. I think it should be so hard to use SQL. Even ORM is still hard because you need to know many details to make your performance to the best. So I improved it from the SQL side. Because everyone knows SQL, make it easy to build. So it's MoSQL. MoSQL.query import select and print select. Select is a callable function, callable object. Then you call it with the argument person, which is your table name. Then you can build such SQL. Okay. And the map is just condition. So you can use such Python's syntax to build a SQL like this. Select from person, where is person ID equal Mosky. And I just use the map. The mapping, which I mean all of the same kind like dictionary. Because dictionary actually is a mapping. It's just mapping. If you made objects like mapping, it will work. It will work here. So I say map. I don't say dictionary here. So it's just condition. It seems not so good because the slide is too narrow to push such code. Because SQL always long, so you have to limit to the slide. Okay. If you want to check out the full code, you can just go the document of MoSQL, which I can repeat the URL again. It's mosql.mosky.tw. Or you can search it by Google. Okay. Then the sequence just a list. Not like you want to select from person and you want the column name. You just put it. and it will build such SQL for you. Select name from person. And map actually is also a set list. It depends on, map actually depends on which statement you use. So in the insert context, it means the set list. MoSQL is designed for the standard SQL. So it will convert the set, which is MySQL specified field, to the standard way, in a standard way. Actually, it's a set. Actually, you can use set equal on this, just like keyword argument. I just put as a positional argument. So insert into, it will unpack this dictionary to the SQL statement. And order doesn't matter. So as I said, so you can update person where you can put where down or up, set up or down, it's both okay. Then it's where person ID equal Mosky and rename it. Set name equal Mosky view. So the SQL you got. Update person, set name equal Mosky, where person ID equal Mosky. Also, the operator also works. I think you may wondering at the operator, how the dictionary represents the operator. It's really hard to handle actually, but it works in MoSQL now. MoSQL lets you put the operator in the key, so it will be like this. If you want to select a person, all the person where the age is large and equal than 20, you can do so. And you will get a SQL like it. You may notice that all of the arguments are native Python data structure. It means you can handle a SQL just like the daily thing you do. I would say it's awesome, but I don't know how to think. And the overview of the thing, some of the thing I maintain. You can use insert like a function like this, table, set, and other arguments. Actually, SQL also support other clauses, so you can put it as a keyword argument behind the table and the set. And select just where, and update is just where and set. Then delete is just table and where. I believe database accessing should just be simple as this. Of course, MoSQL provides more things than here. You can check out the document of MoSQL for more detail. If like it, just sudo pipe install MoSQL. You can install by pipe now. Then join is also available. If you want to do a join, it's a little complex. But because the SQL do it in this way, so I have to. Each person is person ID equal Mosky is where, it means where, this is where. And the joins and up table, here is left join. And what the table is detail using person ID to join. It will generate the SQL like this. Select all from person left join detail using person ID where person ID equal Mosky. It also supports partial query. I don't know if you know a partial application. Do you know partial application? Oh, no one? Really? Oh, yes. Yeah, partial application is a style of, is a thing of the functional programming, which is very fun. It means you can fix some argument over a function, something like a log. We have a log function. Log maybe n and b. B is the base. So partial application means you can fix maybe some function. Actually, Python has a function named partial in the function tools. So you can do so. Log 2 equal partial log b equal 2. To make a log always the base is 2. It's partial application. I don't think, I'm not sure it's working in Python's partial. It may not work because Python's partial is not so powerful. But I wrote another still, I wrote another still for MoSQL. So in MoSQL, actually, you can do the partial query. It means you can specify a fixed argument you want, something like a table. Maybe you are writing a class, you want to access a table, and the ORM statement in this case should be some table. So you can fix it. Then you can use the second line of the code. Person select is just a variable name, and the select breathe. And put your fixed argument there. Then every time you call the person select, they will apply the fixed argument to you, for you. So you will generate the SQL like that, which is actually same as this, but it just can let you tab less. And if you have many statements you want to do partial, you can use state dictionary to set the memory. Okay. I think I may speak too fast, okay, keep going. The performance is also not bad, maybe better than ORM. It's about 4 times faster than SQL archiving. I don't know if you use Django ORM, but I think it should be faster because the core is lesser. Of course, it's lesser than Django ORM or any ORM, other ORM. And it's just a little bit slower than the pure SQL. Actually, the number here may be not correct because it's very old number of MoSQL. MoSQL has a lot of change after this number. So it may be a little faster or a little slower, but I think it's just similar this number. And actually, MoSQL has a lot of room to improve because now MoSQL doesn't have cache. So if I add cache, it will be more fast. And security. MoSQL is a project security by default. It means all of the configuration of MoSQL is keep to the top security. Actually, it's using the escape technique. You may know the escape technique, but if you know, it's fine. It just guarantees the SQL injection free. It prevents the SQL injection from both value and identify, which means you can put anything in the place of identify or value. If you are use something like a prepare statement or a parameterized query, you can only be sure your value is secure. The identify part you can customize. You just can write a fixed SQL and fill different value into it. But with MySQL, with MoSQL, you can use everything from user. Then MoSQL will handle it for you. The most important is that it passes all the tags from SQL map, which is an automatic SQL injection takeoff tool. It actually is it is a security tool, but also a cracker tool. So it passes over the test of the SQL math at level 5 and risk 3, which is a top of the SQL map. So it can guarantee yours, if you use MoSQL, it can guarantee you are security free. And SQL vs ORM is the same as the previous table. So I said I want to do things between SQL and ORM. It's what MoSQL does. So we want to fill something like into it, and we fill it. Actually, it's not very exactly, but I just want to show the feature of MoSQL has. It is easy to use. MoSQL is easy to use. Why? It's just Python function, callable function. Everybody knows how to use the function. Everybody knows why it's string, why it's dictionary, and maybe why it's sequence. So MoSQL is easy to use than SQL. And secure. I show the proof of the security of MoSQL. So MoSQL also guarantees your security. So it's secure. It's also easy to learn because everybody knows SQL. So it is to learn. If you don't understand SQL, there are many books to explain how SQL works. And the SQL is you can take the SQL knowledge to every place because every place also needs SQL or they use ORM. And it's fast. It's 4 times fast at least than the SQL archiving. So it just combines the advantage from both sides. So I really talk so fast, I think. So I think we have the demo time. Okay. I prefer it because I have a friend my talk will be end so soon. So it will, okay. The demo will cover just several things. All the demo you can find in my GitHub. It has an examples folder. All of the code is there. Okay. I need to end it. Okay. Could the lesser rows can select? I think so. Okay. It's just same as the GitHub. I just check. I just push it, so it's exactly same. So we can further see the symbols usage. Oops. Okay. MoSQL doesn't have the part of connect to DB, but it's online to do. So it may have in the future release, but now it doesn't have. So you have to connect to database by yourself. But I should start my database first. I think it's Postgres. Okay, it's my database. Okay. Okay, I use Postgres SQL, so I find a drive. I use the Scikit drivers and then connect to the local database. And the database, I just connect to the database because, okay. Then I create a cursor. Then I want to send this person to a table. I just define a dictionary. It's a dictionary, right? Dictionary. And I said cursor is a could insert, just a MoSQL part. The person, depth, and the returning star. It means returning is maybe, I don't know, maybe it's a Postgres SQL specified. It means after you insert, database will return the data from the database. Star means this star. Yeah. It's in another module of MoSQL, util star. Okay. We can further do some modify to see what it generate. Copy and I print it first. Okay. Then I just fetch one, fetch a row, and unpack to person ID and name, and show person ID and name, and just close it. Actually, we don't want to commit because I want to keep my table clean, so I don't commit it. Okay? Yes. Simple usage. You can see if generate such SQL, and its data we return from database is deb and deb. Then the breed usage, maybe join usage first. It's a little longer, so I need to make the words more. I think I should show the database for you. Each person. Person is very simple. Detail is a little. Person is a one-to-one table, and the detail is one-to-many table. So you will see it's all Mosky, and you have different key and a different value. So if I join, I select this table and join this table, I will get the detail of the person. Could you know it? I can show you on the SQL, using SQL from person. Natural join. Join. This table is designed so I can do natural join. Natural join and where person ID equal Mosky. Then you will show the person data and the detail data. Okay. So let me do so using MoSQL. It's code. It's similar. I just connect to the database, and it's the SQL I want to generate. Here's a person, its table name, and where is positional argument. But actually, you can use keyword argument where equal sign to list dictionary. Then join means the join statement you want, because join statement could be many in a select statement. So I use the joins, mean you can use multiple joins. Then left join, I use left join here, but actually I can use just join. And don't give any argument here, then it will be a natural join. But I just use left join here. And the table I want to join, and using what? Then actually you can do so if you have to add multiple join statement. It means the first and the second, but I don't have a second one, so it's just one tuple. Okay, then pretty print it. Okay. Okay, list the end. It is exactly same as using SQL. Okay, it's actually very easy. We can do some modification for use. Something like if you want to do natural join, we can just remove it. It will be a natural join. I think. Oh, I should import join. Oh, it works. It's natural join. I can show you the SQL. Okay, natural join. It will depend on what how the argument you provide. If you don't provide any argument, it will assume it's a natural join. If you provide the argument, it will be inner join. Then if you want to use left or right or cross, you can specify type as an argument of join, or just use left underscore join, right underscore join, or cross underscore join. Okay. Then the most interesting stuff I want to demo is web usage. It's a web. It's a Flask. It's also similar. I just connect to the database and I have an index page. The most interesting thing is I just use the request, all of the request argument as the parameter. I just put it. I don't do anything else. Because it's a dictionary-like type, so I can put it here. But to produce it empty dictionary, so I put or none here. So it's just similar as the SQL I demoed. So let me start it. It's a web. I start a web server. It will oops. Where's my Chrome? Okay. Oh, okay. Because I don't have any condition for it, so it just select all of the things. Then I can specify the. Oh, I have something to do. Okay, it just mask it too much, so I can use maybe a list. It's a list. What? How can I use? Bob is Bob. Or Bob is here. Thinking maybe not here. So it's very interesting. You can use just. I have to start another terminal. MoSQL and examples, web usage, and it's web usage. So it's just same as you want. I just JSON file the data because the data is just the tuple in list, so I can do so. It's some URL you can try. It's all on GitHub, so you can try on your cell computer, but you need a Flask, so you have to install Flask. Okay. Then if you want to do a series usage, something like your business, maybe, here is a series use of the MoSQL. Okay. This more large program. We should go person. In the most of case, we will use a class to present. Your table, but it sounds like ORM, but actually it does, because it does not, because it just uses the MoSQL and the database connector, which is much faster than your ORM. And you can do more change on your class. So I have to explain this. It's a connect context. Do you know the Withstatement in the Python? Python do have a Withstatement. It can control your context. When you enter, it will do something for you. When you leave the box, it will do something for you. It's just like you will create a cursor if you enter the box, and leave. When you leave, it closes the cursor, and the thing, if you have, if there is exception, there will roll back. Then otherwise, everything is fine. It just commit. So, sound like in this example, we can first define a table information. Unlike table is person, and we breed two new sleds for the person table. Then initial it. I use dictionary as my inherit dictionary. So it's a dictionary like person class. And initially, I first copy the table information and add the where information. Because if the class is instantialized to an instance, then the where will be fixed as the person ID. So I just define the role info and breed two and other queries here, and I just use the MoSQL. Create, you can specify the argument, and it's a dictionary-like, so you can treat it as a dictionary. It will create an instance, and with class connection context, as context cursor, SQ, a SQL you want to execute. And actually, the MoSQL part is just here. Set person. Then it will insert the person for you. Then the thing next is similar. So it just fetch, save, and remove. Actually, not very much. You can write it as the base class. Then you can insert it. Then it will be a more faster database wrapper than any ORM. So it's some usage demo. You can create a dev and print it, fetch dev, print it, update, remove. I can execute it. Person class. Okay. It just works. Okay. So it's all demo I have. You can just play it with you by yourself. All the code is on the GitHub. Okay, demo. Okay, demo did. It's finished. Okay, the end. So MoSQL is easy to use and easy to learn, secure, fast, and you can use sudo pipe install MoSQL to install. Then it's the documentation of MoSQL. Okay, it's my talk.
Thank you very much for talk. We have some time for question or comments. Anyone?
Has MoSQL some kind of SQL binding variables?
Binding variable. Did you mean this? Did you mean something like this? Oops, it's a little hard to read. Is this?
Yes.
Yeah, it has. You have to, it provided in the MoSQL util. Here is a param, PARM. You can use as this, it has a shortcut. More easy to use. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. How about subquery? When can I use some purpose for the in or exists operators?
Probably, I think it can, but you have to try. Because if MoSQL will think what data you give it, then translate to the string. If it's already the string, it may not change. Depends on which field you use. So you can try it. If it fails, you can report to me. I will fix it.
Now not to use for the subquery. Please read.
Pretty printing.
Hmm?
Actually, each MoSQL stuff is, you can do something like this from MoSQL query, import, select, and the site is a little huge. It contains every, because query is a partial class and the statement is the statement it actually is, and the statement has clause. Is you want? Probably not.
Okay.
Okay, time has passed, so I'd like to close this session. Thank you very much.